Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of In the Prog Seat. It's Tuesday night. Thanks for joining us. We have a pretty large crew here tonight. So in just a second, I'm going to introduce everybody and get to our topic at hand. But before we do get started, all of us here at Sea of Tranquility want to send our condolences to the families of the children and teachers who lost their lives today in Uvalde, Texas. Horrible thing that happened today. So our thoughts are with everybody who was affected. And I know it affects basically everybody in this country and around the world, what happened today. So with that being said, our topic for today is Mr. George LeMay's idea. It's all about the softies today. So in fact, he's wearing a shirt. George, you want to show off that wonderful shirt there? Okay. Today is all about, yes, softies today. So basically, what is a softie? A softie is a mellow song, a ballad, right, by a band that's normally, I guess, fairly high energy, right? I guess. George, you want to add a little color commentary to this?
Yeah, like you say, a ballad, everybody knows them. It's more of a thing like, when you hear it, the sensitive song that's built for the ladies and,
built for the ladies.
Or the dudes who like
built for the ladies.
Yeah. But, some of us do like some of these songs as well. So that's why we're going to talk about them today. So let me introduce everybody here on the panel. I'll start from the bottom, work on my way up. We've got all the way from Scotland. We're going to keep them up late once again tonight. Mr. Stephen Reed. We got from New York. We've got Chuck Alvarez. We've got from Pennsylvania, Anthony Ferraro. Also from Pennsylvania, we've got Chad Hutchinson. From Chicago, once again, George LeMay. All the way down from Georgia's first time on In the Prog Seat in quite a while. We've got Mr. Sean Tonar. We've got another New Yorker, Eric Porter. We've got our other heavy hitter from Chicago, but he's in Mexico today.
Mexico City, folks.
That's right. And then our last but not least, the professor of prog from New Jersey, Mr. Ken Golden. All right, gentlemen. So we have been tasked with coming up with our 5 favorite softies. We're going to kind of run through these, fairly quickly. We're just naming songs here today, but you can say real quick what you like about your selection. I don't know if people here have ranked them in any specific order or not, since there's only 5. So I guess list whichever one first you want to. We'll start. We're going to go in the exact same. We're going to go in the opposite order that I just named everybody. So we're going to go Ken. I'm going to try and keep it orderly because we have a lot of this. Ken, I'm doing it based on what I'm looking at in the Zoom. Ken, myself, Lewis, Eric, Sean, George, Chad, Anthony, Chuck, Stephen, and then back to Ken. So we're going to start at the top right according to what I'm seeing and working our way down and around. So Ken, what do you got for your first softie?
I'm winging this. I have a list, and they're not in any particular order. So my first one is by Straubs from their Ghost album, Grace Darling, which is just a beautiful orchestrated piece with the choir. It makes me feel like I'm in church, and a Jew in church. Not the best feeling, but it's it's quite a beautiful song. And the most scale is the scale of hardness, right? And 1 is talc and 10 is diamond. I give this a 4 on the most scale. So Straubs, Grace Darling. That's my first random choice.
Oh, nice. Well, I decided to go with probably what is my number 1, and I'm going to do it first. That's how much I love this song, and I want to make sure I got this one out of the way. And this is just a gorgeous song, brings me to tears every time I hear it. And it quite possibly could be my favorite song at times from this band, or it's my number 2 or number 3 from their debut album, In the Court of the Crimson King, Epitaph by King Crimson, George's favorite song of all time. Gorgeous vocals from Greg Lake. Some of the most amazing mellotron you'll ever hear. Just a hauntingly beautiful, beautiful song amidst an album with, lots of loudness and, all sorts of crazy things. Epitaph is kind of like the calming sea on this particular album. So that is my first choice for today. Over to Lewis.
All right. So for my first choice, I think I actually found this challenging, this assignment. There was a lot more than I expected. And I'm going to choose a song by Genesis. It's called Guide Vocal. And I think that's a beautiful song. And it's also very clever because it's like a fight between, I guess, Duke and the Duchess in some way. And the song starts in E flat major, and it ends when the Duchess sings her part in A major. So that's a tritone difference. So that's like also very symbolic for that. I love it. I think it's a great song. So Genesis Guide Vocal.
Cool choice.
Nice choice. Eric.
Well, we got a big panel tonight, so good evening, gentlemen. And
Good evening.
I'm sure there'll be some repeats here. I like this though. This is kind of after the last couple weeks, a nice relaxing one to do. So I'm going to start mine with Kansas, Lonely Wind from their debut album. I love Steve Walsh's voice. That's when he was in his prime, obviously in the 70s, and that I just think it's a gorgeous song. And Livgren composed so many great songs, whether it's prog, whether they're heavy, or whether they're ballads. So that's my number 5.
Great choice.
Eric, you're making us look bad with the collared shirt.
I'm all fancy today. I had to go into work today and for the first time in 2.5 years
Wow.
to clean out my desk because I'm never going back again. So
Oh,
Cool. All right, Sean.
All right, let's see here. I'm going to go with a pretty obvious one that everybody's heard a zillion times from radio, but it's great, and that's why. From the beginning, from ELP.
beautiful.
Beautiful, probably Greg Lake's coolest moment, acoustic, and just it's an awesome one. I don't have the album, but I can hold up an album that has nothing to do with my choice each time. In this case, I'll hold up this one.
The producers.
Well, Ken did hold it up, so I'm assuming Ken had that as one of his picks.
That was on my list, yes.
There you go.
Sorry, I figured it was on somebody's, but couldn't resist.
I think we're going to have a lot of overlap.
Yeah. Except from George. George, what do you got?
I don't want to, I have a feeling I might be stepping on Steven's dick with this one, but from this album, Drive Home, a gorgeous song.
Yep. Great
Usually
album.
a ballad is a chance for the singer to emote, so it tends to relate to great singers. I don't think Stephen Wilson's a great singer. He's an effective singer, but it doesn't matter on this song. The way it's written, the string arrangement really adds a lot to it. And even the guitar solo, when you get a push from the guitar solo that adds into the feeling of it, you can't go wrong. So I'll say Drive Home.
Guitar solos.
Nice.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It is.
Guthrie's killer on that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good choice. All right, he's fresh back from Puerto Rico. Mr. Chuck Alvarez, did you have a good time?
Oh man, I had a wonderful time, man. Didn't want to come back as usual.
Yeah. The only thing I was missing from all your Facebook posts is a picture of you eating a big bowl of mofongo. You have some while you were there?
And I had a whole lot there, man. Oh man, I must have put on like 20 pounds, man.
Chuck, I kid you not. The last time I was in Puerto Rico, we were there for a week. I had mofongo every day in a different
Love
place.
it.
And every day it was different, and every day it was amazing.
Oh man,
What's the basis of mofongo?
mofongo is basically unsalted, unsweetened plantain, mixed with what's a different herbs, garlic, oil, and then you put like whatever meat that you wanted. You can even have it vegan if you want to. And it's put inside of a small little bowl that they crush the plantain in, and they mix it all together. It's just delicious, man.
Awesome.
But just thinking about it, I'm getting hungry again. I just finished eating.
You can have it with pork. You can have it with chicken. They make it with
Chicken,
shrimp, with
yep.
Bacalao, which is
Mhm.
consulted cod. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's amazing.
Hey, you should consider a cooking show like on Saturday morning.
Frog breakfast.
I'll do a cooking show.
Oh, nice. Mm.
He's
Each episode's
ready
going
and
to be
waiting to
13
show
hours.
us
So.
the grill prowess. That's right.
That's what you ought to just call it, grilled prowess.
Yeah, there you go. Well, Chuck, what's your softie for today?
All right.
Now that we're talking about mofongo, it's like
All right. Well, I'm probably gonna make George's buddy a little pissed off over here. My first one is Beauty Queen off of For Your Pleasure, Roxy Music. It's a beautiful song. It's in between two power songs that they have on For Your Pleasure. Beauty Queen is just absolutely amazing, man. A haunting track, just as haunting as Ladytron, but a little bit better for the women. So they'll like that. Beauty Queen, Roxy Music.
Nice. All right. He's not wearing his yellow hoodie today because I think it's a little too warm. But Anthony, you're up.
My number one is going to be going back to 1976 off 2112, Rush's Tears. It's very sappy. It's kind of like one of only Rush's ballads, but beautiful guitar playing by Alex and gorgeous vocals by Geddy. I've always loved that song. So I'm going with Tears by Rush from 1976.
That's a good choice. I wanted to pick a Rush song, and I was having trouble pinpointing one, and I was like, well, I'm not a huge fan of Closer to the Heart, so I just said, I'll skip Rush today. That's a good one. That's a good one. Cool. Chad, what do you got?
I skipped Rush too, just to let you know. I did think about something like Ghost of a Chance, but it's still got a little too much heaviness in it, but the choruses are great. I did kind of order mine. My number 5 is Mr. Mike Keneally and Beer for Dolphins. And the song on here is I Was Not Ready for You. It's got a bit of a 70s throwback feel. And it's all about the fact that he never got a chance to record properly with Kevin Gilbert. It's some really very touching lyrics. Talks about how he didn't realize the genius of that Kevin was, and wish they had made time to get together and collaborate and really dig in and make some music together. But it's really a very pretty song, very cool throwback vibe. So I Was Not Ready for You, Mike Keneally and Beer for Dolphins from Dancing 2000.
Cool choice. Nice. All right, Steven.
Well, I listened to George's explanation of what a softie was there and thought, have I got the brief right? Because there's nothing that the ladies like more than a bit of Opeth, you know? So, of course. So I hope that this counts. No, I mean, this whole album, in a certain light, is a softie. But for me, In My Time of Need is just a phenomenal piece of music. This whole album is restrained, it's deep, it's melancholic. I love the production on this album as well. And it was a game changer. It was the one where prog met extreme metal nowhere in the middle. But man, oh man, does it work. But In My Time of Need is just phenomenal. And it's as hard-hitting today as it was back in 2003 when Damnation was released. So that's my first choice.
Nice.
By the way, how many of you guys went to that tour?
No.
Is that a tour with Porcupine Tree?
Yeah, and everybody who
to
went to the show went to see Opeth, and they were expecting to hear the heavies, and they had to pause. And Ackerville had to explain that they didn't even have like double kick drum pedals, so they couldn't play any of that. They didn't have the right amps, and people were very irritated. And then when Porcupine Tree was headlining, by the way, when they came out, and they saw Steven Wilson barefoot and doing his thing, this one guy, I remember in DC, lobbed very gently a beer bottle at him. Wow. He wasn't trying to hurt him, but he was letting him know, no sale. So he knew he was going to get kicked out, but he didn't want to stay. But it was one of those nights, which was really unfortunate because I thought both bands are really good. But people were very unhappy.
The Philadelphia audience was a little more sophisticated. We didn't have to get an explanation. We knew what was happening.
Yeah, it's funny. I was listening to
Very weird. Very weird.
House of Blues album at the weekend, which is from that tour. And I think they alternated who headlined on certain shows. So Porcupine Tree were on first that night. And Stephen Wilson says, so you're ready for some heavy stuff later? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, well, you won't be getting any of that.
Funny enough, at the time when that album, when Deliverance and Damnation came out, I remember a lot of Opeth fans were kind of like, what is this? What is this? But ironically, like just a short time later, most fans of the early heavy Opeth grew to really love that album. And the funny thing is, now all these years later, I think a lot of those fans have turned their back on the more recent material because they want to return to the heavy, because I think at the time they thought, well, this was just a one-off. They're going to go back to do what they normally do. And now they've never gone back to it. So they still hold Damnation in high regards. But a lot of the newer albums, they're like, no interest anymore.
Too
Yeah,
prog.
It's a shame.
It's
Yeah,
prog
Nation's
rock, right?
Yeah.
That's
You
the one
think-
that got me into them.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
big. I can't really do the Cookie Monster thing. So anything from Dan Nation on has been good for me.
Same for me, Chad.
Well, it's the album that got me into them, but I'll do both ends.
Yeah, same here. Yeah. All right, back to Ken. Next choice.
So I'm gonna pull something out of left field. Are any of you guys familiar with Lorena McKinnon?
Yes,
I know the
Yes.
name.
I know
So
her.
she's a very, very gifted musician. And when I say gifted, I don't mean gifted like we talk about Anthony behind his back. I mean, she's a Canadian. She's a Canadian singer, also plays harp, also plays piano, accordion. And she kind of gets pigeonholed into new age, but this is a Celtic influenced album. This particular album is her doing traditional music. And the song she does is The Wind That Shakes the Barley, which is the title track from the album. And it's almost all acoustic. There's some electric guitar in it, but it's unbelievably mellow, very, very quiet. It's one of those albums where you gotta listen with the lights out. This is a 1 on the Mohs scale. This album touches my feminine side. So yeah, it's she's great. If you've ever heard any of her other albums, Book of Secrets, Ancient Muse, she's an amazing performer, and her albums are, I think, spectacular. She's definitely, to my mind, she's progressive. She rocks out a bit. She's, like I said, she kind of gets pigeonholed into new age music, but that's not really what she's about. It's more of a world music flavor. Her live performances are extraordinary. She has a huge ensemble on stage. Like I said, I just wanted to pull something a bit out of left field, and she definitely appeals to progressive rock fans all over the world. So if she comes around, go see her. The Wind That Shakes the Barley.
Kind of cool. Tonight we have learned that Ken has a feminine side.
Well,
And it's a two-hander.
oh yeah, for sure. You need 2 hands.
All right, my next choice is from a little band from New Jersey. This song and album came out in 1997. It's a pretty heavy album, but this song, while it does rock in spots, it's really, really melodic, has wonderful use of piano and keyboards, and just amazing vocals from their lead singer, whose name is Russell Allen. I'm talking about the Accolade from Divine Wings of Tragedy by Symphony X.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, just under 10 minutes long. Killer chorus, great harmonies. It's one of the few tracks in their discography that is labeled a ballad. It's not your real typical ballad, but it's one of their mellower songs. But it's still, I mean, George, right? I mean, still fairly heavy. I know Ken knows this album as well. But on this album, which has just got one heavy hitter after another, it kind of sticks out like a sore thumb, but in a good way. Like I said, just amazing melodies, great guitar work, amazing lush keyboards, and just a beautiful vocal performance from Russell Allen. The Accolade from Symphony X from Divine Wings of Tragedy, 1997. Back to Lewis.
My next one, I'm also going to go with Symphony X. I'm going to choose my favorite softie from them, which they didn't play just a few days ago in Chicago, but I love it. It's called Paradise Lost, the title track from the album of the same name. That is a fantastic composition. And all the things that Pete just said about the Accolade, you can say about this one also. So I'm choosing Paradise Lost, Symphony X.
They're a band, if they did a whole album full of softies, I would be totally all in, because I think Michael Romeo is such a great writer and composer that he could do that and still make the songs really engaging, that even if you're a fan of them and their heavier stuff, you'd be totally all in, I think.
I used to work with a guy. He had me burn him a Symphony X Ballads disc for his car. He just loved it.
Yeah. They're that good. Cool. All right, Eric, back to you.
My second choice, I'm going with a band that has a number of softies, but a lot of them have some lengthy guitar solos or excellent guitar solos. This one I chose, I think this might be their biggest or one of their biggest softies. It's one of my favorite bands, Camel from Mood Madness, and I'm going to go with Spirit of the Water.
Nice.
Great
There were
album.
definitely some other ones I could have picked by them, but for some reason that one just popped in my head when the topic came up. Get your recorders out and
Exactly.
kind of get mellow, but it's a great tune. It's a great album, and that's my number 2.
Yeah, they have a bunch. I'd be surprised if we didn't see more Camel today. So cool. All right, Sean.
I just want to say, hey, George, I think this was a good pick. It's like some of the best prog albums have a good balance of light and shade, and we're talking about shade all day today. So there's just a lot of great ballads, for every, Lark's Tongue number 2, there's a Book of Saturday, so there's lots of cool choices out there. Although that's not my pick. I'm going to go with Lucky 7 from Chris Squire.
Oh, beautiful.
It's a good chill tune. I don't know if you call it a ballad, but it doesn't really get up and rock or anything. Just love the electric piano on that tune. It's a really good one. And this is the part where I hold up an album that has nothing to do with my choice. So here's number 2.
Oh, I love that album.
Yeah. Well, these are all good. These are like another narrative on the side.
Cool. All right, Mr. Softie himself. What do you got?
All right, number 4 is 80s progressive metal album, Fate's Warning.
Oh, I love it. Yep.
Guardian,
hmm
7.5 minutes.
Beautiful.
I would listen to John Arch sing the phone book, so if you tell me he's going to emote for 7.5 minutes, I'm all in. It's another good one on the album before, but I give this one a slight edge. So I'll say Guardian.
Terrific song.
Yep.
And
Love that song.
Great
Yeah.
chorus.
One of the best. Yeah. Great choice. All right, Chuck.
All right. Make it very, very quick again. So mine is a chapter, part of a chapter. It's from Saga. It's the song Images from their Images and Words album. What's it that? It's another great song, great solo, guitar solo, great keyboard solo. Just a fantastic song. Images from Saga.
Images of Twilight, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I completely forgot about Saga. Great choice.
Mhm.
Yeah, they got a lot of them too.
Yep.
All right, Anthony, what do you got?
My second pick is going back to 1977, side 1, track 2, by the guy in Mexico's favorite lead singer of the band, Yes. Turn of the century. John Anderson vocals just sublime and gorgeous on this, and Steve Howe's 12-string is just absolutely beautiful. So I'm going with, as my second pick, Turn of the Century, Yes, from 1977. I'm going for the 1.
That's a great song.
It's a beautiful song.
Good choice. Good choice. All right, Chad, your next pick.
All right, my next pick is going to be from King Crimson. I thought about maybe Heartbeat, maybe Mate Kudasai, but I went to Thrack for One Time.
Oh, yeah.
Nice, very haunting, chill song, good vocals from Adrian Belew, and just a killer slow bass groove from our favorite Mr. Tony Levin. I've just always found it to be a very soothing song, good one for In the Dark. So One Time from Thrack.
He plays it quite a bit in his solo shows live.
Oh yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Beautiful.
Steven, back to you.
There's an added poignancy to my second choice, and sadly, because my second choice is from John Vangelis. Okay, obviously with Vangelis' sad passing just last week. This is probably the first time that I ever heard John Anderson would be on I'll Find My Way Home from the Friends of Mr. Cairo. Well, it was on the second pressing of the album, which is the one I've got here. It proudly says at the top that this song is on it, even though it also says it right there. Strange choice to do, but there you go. I just adore this song. As I say, it'll be the first time I ever heard John Anderson. I was 8 when this came out, so I had no idea who he was. I mean, this is not prog, but he is, and Vangelis was in certain lights. So I think they belong in it. although together they weren't necessarily progressive. I just love that song. It's just beautiful. It's heartfelt. It's probably still one of my favourite John Anderson vocals because it's just, I think, a lot more honest than some of the vocals that he provides at certain points with Yes. But yeah, I really like it. So I'll Find My Way Home by John Evangelos.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Gonna have to listen to that. I never heard it.
Very time.
You'll like it.
Yeah, you'll like it.
Yeah.
You will.
All right.
I don't know if Luis will like it, but
Well,
I'm gonna listen to it.
is it my turn
Hey,
again?
Wall.
Back to Ken. Yep.
So, Pink Floyd from the Final Cut. No, just kidding. So this one, this is going to be, I guess, my third pick. It's going to be 3A and 3B. So from first King Crimson album, I Talk to the Wind, Greg Lake on vocals, and then from this thing, The Young Person's Guide, it has the Giles, Giles and Fripp version of the song with Judy Dibble on vocals. And I think they're both beautiful. I mean, King Crimson was a band with, man, they had a lot of ballads, a lot of great ballads. You could pick one on just about every album. And I Talk to the Wind is probably one of the iconic ballads from the band. So, and I like the Judy Dibble version as well. I think it's pretty cool. So
Nice. All right. I'm going to go to a very cool little song that has some wonderful violin and acoustic guitars and great vocal harmonies, and it's on the debut album from this band from 1970. It's the second track from the self-titled Gentle Giant album. It's called Funny Ways.
Oh, beautiful.
Great choice.
Enchanting song, just and a really different type of track because they really didn't do a lot of stuff quite like this. But and again, Ray Shulman's violin and the picked guitar notes, and it's got this little kind of like almost like rockabilly section in the middle, but then the beginning, dun, 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 it's kind of mysterious and classical and kind of chamber rockish and whatnot. But yeah, Funny Ways, enchanting song. If you haven't heard it, check it out. Back to Luis.
Beautiful.
All right. For my next one, I wanted to pick something by Marillion. And Marillion is a band that has so many great songs like that. So many great songs.
Yep.
And the problem is that most of those really, really great songs also have some pretty rocking parts. So I didn't think they qualified as softie. And in the end, I had to flip a coin. It was a choice between Easter and the Sugar Mice, and the Sugar Mice won.
Yep.
And I mean, frankly, the lyrics themselves would win. But then when you think of the music, that was really Fish or a Fish at his very, very best. And I just love that, So if you want my address, it's number 1 at the end of the bar, where I sit with the broken angels, clutching at straws and nursing our scars. Blame it on me, We're just sugar mice in the rain. Come on.
Beautiful.
So that's if that's not the perfect softie, I don't know what this is all about. I think it's great.
Great choice. Perfect.
The genius that is clutching at straws.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't get much better than that. Good choice. All right, Eric, back to you.
And Lewis, 2 great guitar solos,
Yep.
Yeah.
both of those.
Yes, indeed.
So my third choice, I'll bring in the Pennsylvania boys, Chad and Anthony. I'm going to go with Echoland, and I'm going to go with Never the Same.
Yep. Beautiful.
I think great orchestration, which I assume would be Chris Busby arranging that. The vocals between Ray, Brett, and Chris on that are absolutely killer, and it's just a great song. A lot of feeling to that one. It actually ends the record, and I think it is a true softie in terms of lyrics and music. But I love that band. Obviously, we've talked about them a lot on the show. I think it's just a great song from them.
That's a tearjerker too.
It is.
I think that Stars and Gardens version is superior, though. I really like that stripped down approach to it. It makes it all the more heart wrenching.
Indeed. That's a good version. Absolutely, Sean.
Cool. All right. Speaking of Sean, you're up.
All right, number 3. Are we going towards number 1 or are we working backwards?
Either way, it doesn't matter. Yeah, whatever you got.
Okay. Ripples from Genesis.
Beautiful. Mhm. Yep.
And I was thinking that or Entangled, one or the other, but Ripple wins out. And it's another one of those songs that's kind of like about somebody that's passed on. So it's not a far cry from the one we were just talking about.
Yeah, I love Ripples. Ripples is okay by me. You know, we talked a lot about Genesis and their move into more pop waters in recent weeks, but I don't mind Ripples at all. Never have.
That one is just the right balance. This Hill has
Yeah,
that
I
kind of
agree.
early kind of 12-string arpeggiated thing that they did so well, that real pastoral stuff.
And another great instrumental section in that.
Yeah, beautiful.
And, backward
Absolutely.
guitar solo and the keyboard playing. It's a great song.
How many of you saw Hacken on this recent tour?
I didn't.
Yeah, I went and saw him about a month ago, and it was just like, man, I needed a dose of that really bad.
He still got it.
He still
Oh,
has
it
it.
was
Yep.
killer.
Mhm.
And I think some of my favorite moments were tunes that I had never seen him cover before, especially Robbery, Assault, and Battery.
Mhm.
You know, that middle section is just awesome. Great
Yeah,
stuff.
that is badass. I just miss his brother in the band.
Oh, it's been a long time since he's been in the band, hasn't he? I
That
mean, he's
Rob
got
Townsend's great,
yeah.
Anthony.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah,
better.
but I, you know, like some of the moments his brother has on Spectral Mornings and Defect are just magical.
Sure.
Okay, that was 40 years ago. Come on, guy. Let's go.
That's right.
Drink your water.
I am drinking my water.
I like that Nad was kind of toned it down a bit,
Yeah, the theatrics have kind of subsided a little bit.
which was okay with me. He was a
Yeah.
little too
I think
distracting.
it was a lack of pirate shirts.
Oh, thank goodness. I think
Puffy
they,
shirts.
I think
Puffy
they
shirts.
burned them.
Puffy shirts.
I think they burned them.
It's a good show.
All right, where are we? George, you're up.
Number 3 is from the San Diego area, a band called Psychotic Waltz.
Oh,
Yep. Mhm.
This tune is called Hanging on a String.
Beautiful.
Kind of a short one, 3.5 minutes. Maybe the only one that I got tonight where it never picks up in aggression or anything. It kind of stays at that same level. The verse, the chorus, and there's a short bridge too. All the vocal melodies on each one are different and killer. Buddy Lackey at this point was one of my favorite singers. He's a little bit diminished now, I think, but man, back then he sounded so good. So this is an easy pick for me. Hanging on a String.
great choice.
Yep.
Is it better to be diminished or augmented?
Isn't that your point of view?
All right, Chuck.
All right. Only because what's the senselessness of today, and so I was actually going to change the song, but I'm actually going to go with go a little bit off field, and so with early Funkadelic. Everybody's going to make it from their America Eats Us Young album. But so that if anybody's ever heard that song, and so, and you think about what's going on presently at this time, and so, you know, you just have to just wonder, you know, it just without getting politicized, and so, but that's a beautiful track. You know, what's one of George Clinton's better tracks over there, and so very poignant song, beautiful ballad from once again America Eats Us Young, Funkadelic, and the name of the song once again is Everybody's Going to Make It.
We can only hope, right?
Mm-hmm.
Only hope. All right, Anthony.
My number 3 is going to be kind of an obscure one, off of Obscured by Clouds, the last track, Stay. Just gorgeous piano and vocal by Richard Wright. I don't know if a lot of Floyd fans know it, but it's like that hidden gem off that beautiful record. So I'm going to go with Stay from 1972 off Obscured by Clouds. Just beautiful playing by Richard, just beautiful singing.
Yeah, it's a really good album in general. I think kind of one of the forgotten gems of the early part of the catalog. So that's a cool choice. All right, Chad.
All right, my number 3 I am going to go with the last song on Alan Parsons' solo album, Try Anything Once. The song is called Oh Life, There Must Be More, sung by David Peck. This came out in '93. It's a bit of a song of despair. I like to think there's some hope in there too, but it's just got soaring melodies. There's an amazing key change in there. It's very, very emotional song. I mean, there's another tearjerker, if I may use the term again, but just a beautiful song, 6.5 minutes, album closer, super emotional. Oh Life, There Must Be More. Highly recommend checking that one out.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know if I've heard that one.
Yeah, it's not a bad album. As a whole, it's not bad. It's it's not quite a Parsons project album, but it's got some pretty good stuff on it.
Yeah, most of his solo stuff is pretty good, but I haven't heard that one. Cool. Steven.
Okay, so my third choice is from 1998, and I'm going with Arena. Okay, this is the Visitor album, and I've chosen The Hanging Tree, which over 7 minutes is definitely my longest softie, if that's not a double negative. It kind of starts with lots of acoustic guitar and vocals, and it really kind of holds that for the first couple of minutes. It's quite brave to not kind of expand out, and then from there it starts to be, added to with some really atmospheric keyboards. Singer Paul Wrightson, this was his last album with the band. He's just magnificent on this. He's just right for this kind of song. And it's slowly but surely, it does get a bit heavier towards the end, but it builds into a kind of massive kind of keyboard gothic feel. And there's just a phenomenal guitar solo from John Mitchell that just takes it to another level, as he tends to with a lot of the material from this band. So it's not a softie in the sense of, it's all lovey-dovey and all that kind of thing. I mean, it's called The Hanging Tree for a start, but it's really good. The Hanging Tree from The Visitor by Arena.
Yeah, that is some sensational guitar playing from Mr. Mitchell on that song.
Phenomenal, isn't it? Absolutely phenomenal.
That's amazing, man.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's a really, really good song. Great choice. All right, back up to the top. Back to Ken.
Well, for my number 4 pick, I'm going to go with what I think is the all-time number 1 prog softie. And it's from Relayer. It's Soon. And the track is Soon. And I think that, when you listen to that, you have to be like a real man not to want to touch yourself in a bad place.
Wow. Wow.
Soon is, that's like, to me, that's the alpha and the omega. It's just absolutely one of John Anderson's best moments. It's got everything, and I love it.
Steve Howe's guitar solo.
Yeah, it's just it's got the right amount of tension to it, but it's not heavy. It's emotional. It's atmosphere. It's got it all. It's great. For me, this is the number 1 prog softie.
It's only good in context, though. I hate it when it's just tacked on at some solo show and he breaks into it for no reason.
Okay.
I actually agree. I agree with you, Sean. I think it works well in that record.
How about when you're listening to the album? Works pretty good.
Yeah.
That's the place, yeah.
He's saying
sometimes it appears in the middle of a solo or something at a Yes show.
Well, I saw them at 84 and John just sang it, with a couple cheesy DX7 synth pads underneath him. And, it's okay when it's just kind of taken and done as a little single thing. I think the record label even made it into a single.
But it works. It works great within, the context of Gates of Delirium.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you have to go through all of that to appreciate it when it gets
all the chaos, and then
a moment of sanity.
So that's my number 4 pick.
It's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. All right, my number 4 pick. Hold on, baby, hold on. Little Kansas, hold on, from Audio Visions, 1980. One of the great kind of softy anthems, one of a few that this band has. And as great as Dust in the Wind is, I would rather hear Hold On any day. I just think it's awesome. I love the violin in it. Love Walsh's vocals are just absolutely amazing. It's got a tasty little guitar solo. Just love it. And I love when they play it live in concert. They don't do it all the time, but when they do dust it out, it's very, very welcome. So Hold On from Audio Visions from Kansas.
That's a great record, Pete.
Yeah, very underrated, I think,
Very underrated.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Lewis.
All right. So my next choice is also going to come from the Scottish man with whom I once almost came to blows, who I love dearly. This last record that he released, the Weltschmerz, is a fantastic achievement in so many ways. And I really, really love Garden of Remembrance. I think if you ever hear that and it doesn't touch it emotionally, there's something dead inside you. Absolutely wonderful.
And there it is.
I love it. Garden of Remembrance.
Steven's got that smirk on his face, like, damn, you took my number one.
Yeah, I was going to go in reverse to make sure that I got it. I'm still going to talk about it as my number one. There you go.
Well, you should expand on it because I just
spoilers, everybody. Spoilers.
All right, Eric.
This band has come up a few times. I believe this is my number 4. And I think Chad even skipped this one, but I absolutely love Mani Kudasai from Discipline.
Yeah.
Blues slide guitar in that, making the bird sounds, Fripp's guitar in there. To me, that's magical. I love Discipline. It was actually, I think Red and Discipline were the 2 albums I was introduced to Crimson by, which obviously they're opposite in many ways, but I love the guitar work with Fripp and Blue, and that's just an absolutely beautiful song. So that is my number 4.
Great choice.
I almost stole it. Not quite.
Would you guys call Sheltering Sky a softie?
No.
Sure.
Sheltering Sky is great.
But it's a beautiful
It's great.
song.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic song.
Mellow.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking. Would you consider it a softie?
I can think of worse choices.
Men played that when I saw them.
All right, Sean.
Okay, my number 2 is Aspirations from Gentle Giant.
Beautiful.
Love the Power and the Glory album, and that's just a beautiful tune. Carrie always sang the nice kind of soft tunes. I think that's maybe his best.
Love it. Yeah, he when he retired from the band, they lost that little bit of extra that he would always bring to the band. I mean, he was a great instrumentalist, but his voice, really something else. Actually, no, I'm thinking of Phil. Sorry, never mind. Scratch that.
He always did great stuff.
But Phil had a really nice mellow voice as well on some of the early stuff. But Carrie had that kind of really soothing, style, which was so.
Yeah, they have a few other tunes. I mean, like His Last Voyage, I think I almost pick instead. That's another beautiful Gentle Giant ballad, but Aspirations I like a little better.
Yeah, good stuff. Cool. All right, George.
Number 2 is probably an unlikely source band. My buddy Chuck should like this one.
Oh, yes. Mhm. Yes.
Song's
California.
Yeah. The song is called Retro Vertigo. It's on the creepier side rather than like the motive side, the pretty side. It's more of a creepy ballad. Patton gets to do some of his stuff. He's singing with effects in the background of himself, and a very interesting tune the bass player wrote. Came out in the year 2000. Ever since it came out, it's always been one of my favorites. So, Retro Vertigo.
Beautiful album. Mhm.
Cool.
Yep.
All right, Chuck.
Lovely pick, man. Thanks, George. Well, like I said, I tried to go with bands that I know that no one would pick. My second, my number 2 would be from 1975, an American band, Crack the Sky. So we can fool everybody from the Animal Notes. It's a nice ballad. So you get to hear the Beatles side of them. And so, these guys, they could tend to go a little softy there and so, but they could also be a little bit hard. But on this album, that song works very well. And the name of the song, once again, is Maybe We Can Fool Everybody from Animal Notes, Crack the Sky.
Nice. Anthony.
My fourth pick goes back to 1977. It's actually a solo song as part of a collaboration off of ELP Works Volume 1. I'm going with Greg Lake's absolutely gorgeous and sublime C'est La Vie. It's just him on the acoustic, just absolutely beautiful. They played it live on the 78 tour, especially on the live at Nassau Coliseum. Just fantastic. Greg Lake at his pinnacle was just, he had the voice of an angel. So I'm going with C'est La Vie from 1977 off ELP Works Volume 1.
Beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. Good choice. Chad.
All right, my second pick is actually going to one of my favorite albums, and that would be Marillion's Brave from 1994. And I'm going with The Great Escape. Just a haunting, beautiful song that goes in all sorts of different emotions and just starts to bring the whole story together. Actually, it is the last track of the story on the album before you get to meet again, which is a bit of also a ballad, nice ballad, but kind of tacked on. But really solid soundscapes. Actually, the whole album's that way, but The Great Escape for me is just always sort of blown me away, and probably my favorite from the album. So that's my number 2.
Good one.
Stephen.
No, I definitely approve of that choice anyway. No surprise. So my number 2 is Lazarus by Porcupine Tree. It's probably an obvious choice by now. This thing got released, I think, in mainland Europe, not in other places. I suppose it's as close to a kind of single as they would have at that point. It's a beautifully poised piece. And I mean, George says something that was absolutely bang on. Stephen Wilson is not a typically great singer. You couldn't hand him other people's material and say, go sing this. You could manage that. But man, oh man, he knows what he can do. And he writes music that is just absolutely perfect for his voice. And it just becomes a story. And they can play what really would be softies from other bands. And it's never cloying. It's never overplayed. So yeah, it's really stuck with me, Lazarus from Dead Wing in 2005. That's my number 2 from Porcupine Tree.
Beautiful.
Good pick. He's got a lot of great ballads, but that maybe the Porcupine Tree ballad of them all.
Yeah, I would say so.
Steven, Sentimental's really good too.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's loads that could have been chosen, but that's my personal favourite. Lazarus stands out for me.
All right, top choice. Ken, what do you got?
Well, Soon was my top choice, but I have so many to choose from here. I have a stack of things here, but I'm gonna go in a different direction. From Empire by Queensryche, Silent Lucidity.
Oh, wow.
Of course.
So, it was basically Queensryche masquerading as Pink Floyd. And that's how I found out about the band. I mean, from the track being played to death. And I was like, Jesus, this sounds a hell of a lot like Pink Floyd. Who the fuck are these guys? And then I was getting into the whole prog metal thing, and I think it's a great tune.
Regardless of how many times I hear it, it's still a great song. Man.
Yeah, it's a beautiful piece of music.
Yeah,
really brings me back to college.
Well, I wish you had thought of it, right?
Yeah.
As gifted as me. So, and by the way, I love the guy who complains in the comments every week that people hold up CDs, that he wants people to hold up albums. So, it's an observation. I read the comments. So
We all do.
You guys talk too fast.
yeah. Oh no, the best was I talk too much.
We are.
I talk more than everybody put together.
Your responses are always fun on those, Ken.
Yeah.
You always give a nice response to them.
Yeah.
Your
And most of us
response
You know
don't
what I always
state
say?
the name of the band and we're talking about or the album title or song title specifically enough.
Another thing
Eric,
that needs
whenever
to be your responses to those comments, Ken, is they're too short. Make them longer, please.
Whenever they say that I talk too much, I would say next week I'm talking even more.
That's right.
Every time.
Yeah, tune in next week.
Yeah, you ain't seen nothing
You've only been watching the abridged version. Next week, get the whole
next
enchilada. right?
week. Yeah, just gonna let it all hang out.
Bonus, Pete.
All right, we cannot do this show about Softies without one of the great prog bands of the 70s who had a lot of great Softies, and you could arguably say that much of their music were Softies. And the song
Red.
is from Scheherazade and Other Stories by
Oh,
Renaissance.
beautiful.
Ocean Gypsy.
Nice.
Absolutely gorgeous, as most of their
My favorite singer of all time.
Oh, Annie Haslam, just
Mhm.
she's one of a kind. Lovely.
That was on
lady.
my list.
And I mean, there's so many great songs that fall into this category for them, but I think Ocean Gypsy just, man, I mean, how can you not get sucked in by that melody and just the sweeping nature and just soaring vocal harmonies. I mean, it's just amazing. They got so many songs I could have picked, but I went with Ocean Gypsy from Scheherazade and Other Stories. Renaissance. Back to you.
Beautiful.
All right. So for my top choice, obviously, I had to pick something by Roger Waters
Please.
because he's a fantastic writer, and
Can we
contrary
start
to what most
drinking
people
to
think,
Roger Waters now?
Hey, starting
well,
trouble.
you can do
already.
whatever you want. I don't care. I'm already drinking. This is not fucking water.
Judging
I'm in
by
Mexico.
Ken, we'll have to
He's
choke
out of the
Roger
country. You
Waters
can't
now.
touch him.
But I had actually a hard time picking one because he's done very many great ones that I could have chosen. I could have chosen Every Stranger's Eyes
Beautiful.
from Pros and Cons. I could have chosen Three Wishes from Amused to Death, which is a fantastically emotive song.
Terrible album.
But because people don't want to typically don't listen to really what's on the record, I decided that I was going to choose instead from his latest album. It's really, they're labeled as 3 songs, but they play consecutively on the record. And I'm talking about Wait for Her, Oceans Apart, and The Closer a Part of Me Died. Those 3 songs, in my opinion, are the greatest songs ever written about unrequited love. And it's a masterpiece. And to see the man do it live, that's a whole nother level. So if you guys get a chance to go to the In the Round tour he's going to be doing in the summer, you should.
Are you going to that, Luis?
I'm going to miss it because I'm going to be on tour myself when he goes to Chicago. But I may go to New York in August just to go see him at the Madison Square Garden.
Nice.
Yeah. So if I go to New York, well, maybe I'll just visit you guys.
I'll come
Absolutely.
visit you.
There you go. So
Ken and I might.
Roger
miss Mexico
Waters.
too.
yeah.
Chad, you taking me to see him in Philly?
Yes, we'll drive right past the venue and go get tacos.
We'll go to Tony Luke's.
Luis' honor.
We'll go right to Tony Luke's.
All right, Eric, what do you got?
My number 1 shows 2 guys that I guess famously were not the best friends, could actually write a song together. And I'm going with Genesis, and this one was also talked about, Entangled. And I know they didn't really write it together. I'm sure they just, hey, Steve, that's cool. I'm going to tack mine on at the end of it. But it is a Tony Banks, Steve Hackett composition. Beautiful acoustic guitars, great Phil Collins vocal, and the ending Banks' section is just absolutely haunting. It's an amazing song, probably one of my favorite songs, Softie or Not, from Genesis. And that's my number 1, Entangled.
Beautiful.
Great song.
That was on my list.
Cool. Sean, your final pick for today.
All right. Well, I guess this is number 1, but I'm not much for putting them in any particular order. I mean, on any given day, it could be different. But I'm going to go with Turn of the Century from Yes. I think it's one of the most beautiful Yes ballads and classical guitar that Steve Howe played. It's one of his best months. I mean, I'd say, Mood for a Day and Side 3 of Tales after it chills out. Those are probably his best three classical moments. And yeah, beautiful tune. I'd say Awaken, but it's probably a little too overblown to pass for what we're talking about today. But it's a pretty mellow epic as those go. But yeah, Turn of the Century. That's a great tune.
Nice. Yeah, cool. George.
My final one's from Sweden, a band called Andromeda. It's actually the title track of this album. That doesn't happen too often where a ballad is the title track. It's called Two is One. The only one I had tonight that's typical lovey-dovey lyrics. Long one too, 9.5 minutes, because after like 6 minutes they go and they cut loose and do some jamming. But even on the DVD, the singer says when they do the song, he's like, "All right, it's cuddle time." So yeah, it's a deep sense of melancholy, but really cool song. Two is One.
All right, Chuck, your final lovey-dovey pick for the day.
Oh, now this is what's up. I doubt that anybody would have picked this song, and so, but how could I go a show without saying anything about Weather Report? And the song that I'm going to pick is from 1977. Wayne Shorter's beautiful emotive tenor saxophone. It's a Joseph Zawinu composition of a Mark You Made.
Nice.
You can't go any softer than that, man. But despite how soft that is, and so that's killer right there. It's a great song, great track. You could make love to that song, man. It's a beautiful song. Weather Report or Mark You Made. That's my number one.
Beautiful. Great choice. I'm glad we got some instrumental stuff on here today. That's never easy, right? So,
yep.
All right, Anthony.
All right, get ready to drink. 1979, track 2, UK, Rendezvous 602. The gorgeous piano part by Eddie Jobson, the gorgeous vocals by Wetton. It's just a pure, softy, beautiful piece. It's just amazing. Track 2 from 1979, Rendezvous 602. Woohoo!
Saw that coming. Pay up.
All righty. Anthony comes through in the end.
Awesome. Yes, he did it. He fucking did
it. Chad, what do you got?
I don't know. Can I really follow Anthony's singing? I don't know about that.
Nobody can.
My final.
I'm going to have to go play some Weather Report just so that they can make love to my ears and get that out.
Yeah.
Go right ahead.
I might need to actually put on an early Opeth album. My number one for tonight is the title track to David Gilmour's On an Island. Very, very lush song. Yeah. Beautiful guitar solo. We got David Crosby and Graham Nash singing on the choruses. It's just gorgeous. It is a perfect song to just turn all the lights out, close your eyes, and sit back and just kind of soak in that pillowy softness and lushness. And it's just an amazing song. And I've loved it since the first time I heard it. I just think it's beautiful.
Good choice.
On an Island.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's good stuff. Stephen.
Well, I mean, I did bring backup choices in case somebody chose one of mine, because I didn't want to repeat. That's quite a right list because it's so good that I'm going to talk about it anyway. So this is the Welch Smerts album by Fish from 2020, and the song is Garden of Remembrance. It's just a phenomenal piece of work. It really is. It's a beautiful song. It's mainly just piano. There's much more going on in the arrangement. And it's a really simple, understated vocal by Fish. He's as famed for his showmanship and his theatrics and what he can do with his voice in that direction. But this song is just from the heart. It's a lyric about the disconnection and premature loss that's caused by dementia is what it is. And he's personally touched by it in his own family and has been more than once. And that comes across in the way that the whole thing is constructed, and it comes across in the way that he delivers the lyric. It's beautiful, it's touching, it's well pitched, it's heartbreaking, is what it is. And if you haven't heard it, I would please suggest that you do, and just pop onto YouTube and watch the video, because the video matches the song absolutely perfectly. It's a really moving experience, and it's not a schmaltzy softie at all, but I just think it's a phenomenal piece of work from a really tremendous album. So yeah, Garden of Remembrance by Fish is my final choice.
Beautiful.
Cool. All right, I'm assuming everybody's got a couple honorable mentions, so I would just say just rattle them off quick. Ken, we'll start back with you.
Yep. I had ELP, Still You Turn Me On, from Brain Cell Surgery.
As did I. Good choice.
From Wish You Were Here, the title track. I thought was a good softie.
Mm-hmm.
This is a left field one from 0 Hour, Towers of Avarice, track Reflections. Nice quiet piece. White Willow from their first album. Ignis Fatuus is the album. Snowfall. From Van de Graaff Generator, from H to He, Who I'm the Only One. House with No Door. That's Eric's favorite, I know. And then last one, I mean, the kings of the softies. Nobody mentioned the Moody Blues from On the Threshold of a Dream. Never Comes the Day. You could have picked, any of them from the Moody Blues. And yeah, that's what I had.
Cool.
A lot of the ones got mentioned. A lot of the other ones got mentioned.
Yeah, I'm not going to mention the ones that have already been called out, but I do have a bunch here. So I've got Sing for the Day by Styx from Pieces of Eight.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I've got Kaylee or Lavender from Marillion from Misplaced Childhood.
Mm-hmm.
Never Let Go from Camel from the first album.
Beautiful. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good one. Oh, I love that cover.
Yeah, isn't it cool? Yeah, really, really neat.
Oh, you could have went with Mystic Queen too.
That too, yeah. There's a lot of Camel songs. I was like, oh God, just got to pick one, right? Another Day from Dream Theater, Images and Words.
Yep.
Beautiful song. Of course, Whiter Shade of Pale from Procol Harum. Nights in White Satin from Moody Blues. June from Spock's Beard.
Oh, yes.
That's one of my honorable mentions.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wanted to pick a Supertramp song, but man, I couldn't decide on which one. So I don't know. Ain't Nobody But Me, two of us. I don't know. And Dreamer, there's like a million of them. So I'm just going to say Supertramp because I have a bunch of them, and that'll be it for me. So off to Lewis.
And even in the quietest moments too, Pete.
Yes, that too.
Yep.
That too. There's so many of them.
I don't know. I was surprised that you didn't pick out more Dream Theater, because they have a lot of ballads.
I know. That's like the first one that came to
I
me.
left them off for that reason. I have, for me, I have by Kevin Gilbert, A Long Day's Life. I love that song.
Good one.
That's a great song. Other Marillion songs that I were not mentioned, but that I would have easily chosen. I love Neverland from Marble.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That is a fantastic tune.
Yep.
Everything about it, the lyrics,
Superb
singing,
album
the
closer.
melody. I love that song. Sabotage, come on. Believe,
Yes.
or When the Crowds Are Gone. You gotta show some fucking love to Sabotage. Come on.
Yes.
Right? And Opeth, Burden, Death Whispered a Lullaby, Coil. They actually have a lot of really good softies that people don't mention. And the other band that came to mind immediately when I thought of this assignment is Pain of Salvation.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Pain of Salvation have a lot of really good softer tunes. Love, Kingdom of Loss, Morning on Earth, etc., etc. Those would be just some of my choices.
Cool. Eric.
Well, let me get the obvious one out of the way. I'm going to go to Floyd and Breathe.
Yep.
Love that. I'm going to go back to Camel from Stationary Traveler, Long Goodbyes.
Beautiful.
Peter Gabriel, Here Comes the Flood. I also had June from Spock's Beard, Lucky Me from Tony Banks, Curious Feeling. And this one, Steven, you brought this out a couple weeks ago on a show, and I've been listening to it a ton lately.
Ambrosia.
Went on to Yesterday from Ambrosia.
Yeah. That's a great one. Good choice.
Amazing how that band took a left turn after 2 albums.
Yep, money. Yep.
Their left turn was really good.
Yeah, just still classy stuff.
It was great. Yeah. Sean, you got any left?
I got a few. I guess the most obvious one is Rainy Days and Mondays, but we'll move on from that. Seriously though, has anybody got anything left to drink? Because I was thinking about, easy for you to say. Great froggy ballad there. Right? Kudos, Anthony.
Is that the album you put under your plant so it doesn't leave a ring on the desk?
If I had a plan, yeah. A few other ones, Different Strings from Rush.
Oh, that's a great one.
Pretty sweet. Afterglow from Genesis.
Oh.
And You and I mean, come on.
Yeah.
That's exactly a rock. Sometimes I don't know what to feel. Todd Rundgren.
Nice.
Yeah.
Tune. Black Napkins from Frank Zappa.
Yes.
Just 2 chords, but boy, they're mellow. Airborne from Camel. That's another great, beautiful ballad. And Crimson's got a ton of ballad, great ones. What probably a more recent one that I don't think anybody thought about is Eyes Wide Open from the last album.
Oh,
That's probably the best.
fantastic.
One of the, some of the other ones, Walking on Air. That's another great one as well. So, yeah. Spectral Mornings.
Yes.
Absolutely. George.
Kind of an obscure one, band called Terra Maze. The song is called Her Halo. Incredible singer. And a couple instrumental ones for Pete. Steve Morse, Vista Grand.
Oh, yeah.
They'll give you all the feels on that one.
Yep.
Also, Sean Lane, The Way It Used to Be, another
Yep.
one. Give you all the feels. And also a song I probably listened to an unhealthy amount of times on YouTube. A guy named Dimash. The song's called Stranger. Absolutely incredible. The best singer I've ever heard. There's like, it goes like five octaves on that tune. It's really crazy, but really, really good song. Dimash, Stranger.
Chuck.
I got quite a few of them over here, and so what's a little nonsense and now a little nonsense now and then version of Meaning and the Moment from Echoland. Dayless, The Song of Summer from Never Forever, Kate Bush. Lament, Starless and Bible Black, King Crimson. The Shepherd Song from from the Witchwood, The Strawbs. What's a Time for a Change from Mental Notes, which is a split end song. Then I have Why from Looking On, The Move. And the last one is Leaving from Defector, Steve Hackett.
Good. Anthony.
I got a couple. I got Jethro Tull's "Done Ring Gale" is a really kind of a softy, beautiful acoustic piece. Another Kansas one that's a total softy is "All I Wanted" from 1986 off Power. I mean, the video about lost love and whatnot. So, and then I also, what else do I have? Oh, "Pain" by Blackfield, which is sung by Viv, but it's about a relationship gone wrong. So I think that's all I got. Yeah, that's all I got.
Cool. Chad.
Okay, I got a bunch. Ken's right. The Moody Blues are full of them. One I always liked from Long Distance Voyager was Meanwhile.
Yep.
This might be blasphemy, but I always thought that Holy Lamb from Yes Big Generator was a nice song and a nice way to end the album. Kevin Gilbert's When You Give Your Love to Me, first song off Thud, kind of a humorous ballad to a girlfriend. Always liked that one. Echoland's Arc of Descent from The End is Beautiful. Very cool song.
Yep.
Vandergraaf Generator, Lifetime from Trisector. Kind of a sad song, but very, very cool. And a couple from Marillion's Afraid of Sunlight. Beautiful.
The title track.
Yeah.
Title track.
Yeah. Beautiful. Afraid of Sunrise and Afraid of Sunlight, all just gorgeous, slower songs. So they're my honorable mentions, whatever the phrase is. But this was harder. I mean, it was really hard to nail down 5 choices. There's a lot of stuff out there that's we're allowed to be sappy every once in a while, right, guys?
The other thing is some of these songs, I don't know if you guys had that problem, but for me, some of these are total king of the softies, song wise and songcraft wise. But then because it's prog, they tack on this other jam, right? For example, Starlet is the king of softies, but then you have the funeral dirge, that heavy funeral dirge that they latch on at the end before they get back to the vocal. So, but that's a song that I think everybody who just hears the vocal part likes. Even my mother likes it. She doesn't like any of this stuff. So I'm just saying, it's one of those songs that and it was hard to pick.
Marillion does that a lot too, because I was thinking After Me, but then that picks up.
Ocean Cloud,
Season's End.
Yep.
Season's End. Yeah. So
Just remember who
Or
invented-
Luis, as you were saying, ELP's Lucky Man with the
I was just
keyboard
gonna say
part
that,
at the
Anthony.
end.
Yep. I was just gonna say that.
What about Take a Pebble? Would that be considered a softie?
Yes.
that's a great example.
Mhm.
Take a Pebble is a Greg Lake softie with a mind-bending piano jam by Keith Emerson
Yep.
with Carl Palmer punctuating. That's what it is, right?
Yep. Exactly.
So it's one of my favorite ELP tracks.
Love
And
it.
it's a lot of fun to play live if you ever get a chance to do it. It's great fun. But it's a little ballad with massive genius on piano.
Yeah, we don't get the opportunity that often to play it.
But it's great.
But if I do,
You should enjoy it fully. Remember that I send you a smooch.
All right, Stephen, close us
I'm
out,
not
Stephen.
doing
What do you
anything
got?
this week.
Oh, there you go. Okay, well, lots of love for the Moody Blues in the honourable mentions because I've got Tuesday Afternoon. That's a great song. This Life Could Be My Last by Galahad. I've got Safekeeping by the more modern version of It Bites. I've got, I could have chosen the Pineapple Thief song from almost any album. I went with Versions of the Truth from their most recent studio album, which is just wonderful. If Anything by IQ. Don't Give Up, Peter Gabriel and Kate Bush. I've put in Nobody's Hero by Rush.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Managed to pick a Marillion song that nobody else has in my honorable mentions with You're Gone, which I really like.
Yes.
I
yes.
love that song.
So do I. Love the album.
Yeah.
Marvelous is great. Which Way the Wind Blows by Anthony Phillips.
Oh, yeah, that's a
Yep.
good one.
Mhm.
We Got Used to Us by Riverside, another band that you quite a lot of choices, but that one stood out.
Mhm.
And The Man with a Child in His Eyes by Kate Bush. That's my
Mhm. Mhm.
Peter Gabriel had a lot of ballads.
Yeah.
I love
Mercy
To Be
Street.
Loved. I love that song.
Yeah, Mercy Street. I thought
Mercy
was a good
Street, yeah.
Mercy
Yeah,
Street.
lots of
one.
good
Drum, some
Yeah.
was-
And they're all good as well.
Cool.
Salisbury Hill.
Mother of Silence.
Yep.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, the whole his whole catalog is filled with that.
Washing of the World.
Yes. Mhm.
A lot of great choices tonight. So for those watching, I'm sure there are some softies by your prog favorites that we didn't mention tonight. So that's what you have to do now in the comments below. Add in your favorite softies from your favorite prog bands. And while you're at it, visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube all together.
All the damn time.
So I want to thank everybody for going through this hard exercise and putting together their lists. And till next time, for Stephen Reed, Chuck Alvarez, Anthony Farrar, Chad Hutchinson, George Lemie, Sean Tonar, Eric Porter, Luis Nasser. Good luck on the tour, my friend. And
you, brother.
Ken Golden.
Oh, man. Mhm.
I am Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching In the Prog Seat. We'll see you next Tuesday for another night of mayhem. Till then, be safe out there, everybody. And once again, our thoughts and prayers go out to the families down in Texas. And take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Be well, everyone.